away, Gentle a bit slow away. Nelson Bay was the slowest one of all to get into stride and chased along. Alalali has begun the race brightly. Also well up with the pace is Kaylee King, and on the wide outside, Solution nicely there. Ben Hamrash is also front rank, just nudged up though into 4th place with Zafan against the rail next. Dandelion Time, another one who's pretty much flat out. On that one's outside is Florida in the white jacket, and Florida tracked by Wall Game, who travels fine but is in the mid-pack and about 6 to 7 lengths off the pace at this early stage. Merlin the Wizard even further back, and even further back is Lily Star. Likewise Gentle towards the rear of the main group with Loch Leanne for company. And as they begin the run back towards home, Nelson Bay is still in last place. They're well strung out. Kaylee King leading from Solution in 2nd place and Alalali in 3rd. Now Ben Hamrash is driven along. Florida on the outside going well. Zafan will fancy his chances as well of getting involved in the mix. Further back then to War Game on the far side, and Merlin the Wizard coming with a promising looking run down the middle of the track. But up front it is Florida who's burst to the front. Merlin the Wizard chasing him in 2nd place though, but Florida has found a nice turn of foot, quickly settled this. Florida for Kevin Stott wins really well. 2nd place for Merlin the Wizard, who was clear 2nd best as well. War Game was 3rd, and from the back end of the field, Gentle clearly did some good late work.
Florida wins at the 3rd attempt for Kevin Stott and trainer William Haggas for owner Mr. Michael Buckley, and getting cover was no problem. He settled relatively well for Kevin Stott, but what was key, he absolutely accelerated when asked to quicken on this occasion, having not quite got home here 2 weeks ago over the mile. He's beaten Merlin the Wizard, who's run lovely on his debut for Harry and Roger Charlton and Sean Levy, and back in 3rd was the Henry Candy representative Wall Game, who stepped up on his 2nd start. Might not have been the strongest of races, but ultimately a professional performance from Florida. Still 13, I wondered how Kevin Stott would ride him, but he got him tucked in about 5th or 6th place, and here you can see he's travelling all over the opposition, and it was just a question mark of if the slight keenness he'd showed in the early stages would pay in the closing stages, but it didn't make a difference. He's picked up nicely enough. A cracking run by our runner-up, who's tracked him through Sean Levy on Merlin the Wizard, and that horse you'd imagine will take a big step up on his 2nd start. Well, Ali might be disappointing on the face of it. I don't think he came into the race in particularly strong form. He's weakened out of it in the closing stages, and the very laid-back Gentle has made some nice late race progress. But in the end, Florida still 13. Once again, not a problem for a wide-drawn horse this evening, Tom.
And another good call from Steve Jones, Florida, who is clearly learning on the job. It's his 3rd start and by far his most impressive so far, Steve.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and the drop to 7 furlongs was no bother whatsoever at all. And it was interesting that last time over a mile at Kempton a few weeks ago, he was given a very aggressive ride, and this time Kevin Stott, from that wide draw in the white jacket, the Constitution Hill colours, if we can put a jumps reference in, and he was, like James said, he was keen to get a lead. I thought he might get over and try and dictate the race, but he was keen to get some cover, and he got in. He probably didn't get right behind the right horse, because the horse in pink making its debut, Ben Hamrash, didn't really go with, was far too green. He was off the bridle for quite a long time, and so he hasn't had everything go his way, Florida, but he's had way too many gears in the closing stages. And he got it done really nicely. And again, it's experience is key, because you can see following him through in the authorised colours, Merlin the Wizard is one of a couple of runners for Harry and Roger Charlton. Lily Star, who I don't think is one to be giving up on either in the Tony Bloom colours, the greyish horse. But the runner-up there is run a really nice race, Merlin the Wizard. Just maybe allowed Florida to get first run, but that on debut, that's certainly no disgrace, and certainly nothing against Sean Levy. And they've both quickened past the other horses like they were quite slow, and I'd imagine that these two horses have got a bit of ability to be able to put that much distance between them, and just going up the far rail, staying on the closing stages, Wall Game, so that's a step forward for him as well.
Yeah, very encouraging from both the winner and the second there, Rach.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe riding Florida a little bit chilly mid-div, and then allowing him to show his turn of foot. From that perspective, saw him in very good light. He was a lot more professional today than he had been. obviously the second will only improve for that. I actually really liked the run of the third wall game for Henry Candy. Basically didn't do anything on debut at Salisbury, up a furlong and trip off a 4-month break, was outside, switched to the inside, and then had to squeeze through on the rail. It looked a bit tight down there, but he was able to do it with aplomb, so definitely one to keep an eye on, as is Gentle, the daughter of No Nay Never. First run for Andrew Boulding, first run of her career, was in the hood. That's fine. Andrew tends to run a lot of his debutantes in the hood. Didn't have a clue what was going on for most of the race, and then stayed on really eye-catchingly to finish 4th, 5th. She was in the sort of bunch finish for the minors. That's definitely one that will, if there's any semblance of first race to second race Andrew Boulding normally improvement, that will win probably next time out.
Yeah, I think there's some pretty encouraging performances, those in behind, and it's good to see Florida really finding his stride now. It's taken a couple of starts for him to see what he can really bring to the table, but I think he's got a fair engine, he's got a lovely turn of foot as well, and looking forward to seeing what he can achieve further down the line. 130 for Kevin Stott, William Haggas and Michael Buckley. Second was Merlin the Wizard, 12-1. Third was Wargame, 16-1. And the winning time for that